2-round destruction. That's all it took. That's all it took Vergil Ortiz to go out there and prove that he is just a man that is not to be taken lightly. Went out there and in 2 rounds smoked Lubin. And it wasn't just that he's got the power. And it's easy to look now and say, Lubin's a shot fighter. He doesn't have a chin. He wasn't going to be able to withstand the power. But prior to that knockout, prior to those 3 sweeping right hands that had Lubin out on his feet, you back the tape up all the way to the very beginning of the first round. And one of the things you notice is that Ortiz was outboxing him. Ortiz was winning at distance. He was winning at mid-range. He was winning on the inside. He had him backed up against the ropes when he finished him. Ortiz was doing everything that he wanted to do. He was landing the power jab. He countered a few times. He countered with the jab nicely. Towards the end of the first round, he backed Lubin into the corner and went to the body with the beautiful right hand. He was doing everything he wanted. He was cutting the ring off, applying pressure effectively, aggressively, getting Lubin where he wanted. I bet you Lubin, and he was a guy who had a lot of confidence going into this fight, but I bet you Lubin almost immediately when that bell rang for that first round, he realized that Vergil Ortiz was not the guy that he thought he was. He realized that he was harder to hit than he thought. He realized that he couldn't circle and get the angles that he thought he was going to be able to get, that Vergil Ortiz was a little bit quicker and more effective on his feet, keeping the distance where he wanted it to be. Man, Lubin is as talented as he is. He looked like he was a guy who was in over his head almost immediately. And that is saying something. That is saying something because to go in there and take, man, that is impressive. The patience that Ortiz showed, the punch selection, the timing that he had, the ability to pick his shots when and where he wanted them. And this dude has a mean streak in him. Vergil Ortiz goes out there with a finisher's instinct. I said going into this fight, and I've said it going into other fights, that the man fights with a ferociousness and intensity. Every punch that he throws is hard. Probably the best power jab in the game as we're standing here right now looking at everything. Just wants to go in there and hurt somebody. But when you go back and watch this tape and look at this stoppage, look at the facial expressions that Vergil Ortiz has when he's going into this one. Man, he wants to hurt that dude. Lubin was out on his feet. He knew Lubin was out on his feet. We know he's out on his feet. If the ref would not have gotten there when he did, if he would have not immediately pedal to the metal, jumps in there and stops it, man, Vergil Ortiz would have almost decapitated that dude. He's throwing until you hit the canvas. He's throwing hard shots. They're going to be accurate. He's looking at, what a performance. What a performance. He couldn't have gone out there and done anything better. You look and you say, oh, all we had was a round and a half. He finished him so quickly we weren't able to see things. Yet when you go back and you watch it, I'm betting you he did absolutely everything in that short span of time that he was working on in camp going into this fight, because he was able to go in there and do exactly what he wanted. Lubin just did not have an answer for him. Barely even broke a sweat. Oh, man. We were looking forward to this fight. I knew Ortiz was going to win. I thought minus 900 was an incorrect line based off of how good the Lubin was. But looking at this thing, we might have had to make him minus 9,000. What a job. And of course, Boots is sitting right there ringside. Right there ringside, because we were all incredibly impressed with what he did against Lehman. I don't mean to take anything from that. We saw. He went out there, same thing, early in the fight, goes out there and smokes him. First round stoppage, and everyone's like, Boots, 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 we want to see the fight. And of course we do. Of course we do. Boots is incredibly talented, very good fighter. But I will say this. Lima was not Erickson Lubin. Lubin is a far more talented fighter. We already knew going into this fight, when we're talking about these two guys getting at it, we already knew that Vergil Ortiz already had the more impressive resume. He had already beat more credible guys. He had already beat guys who were better. But we were going based off of the eye test, right? Even though Ortiz has the better resume, and that's good, that gets you, that builds confidence, that's going to develop your skill set and everything, that doesn't mean that the guy with the less impressive resume can't win. And looking off the eye test, you can see why people are so high on Boots. Obviously, the guy knows it. He's pretty talented in the ring, knows what he's doing when he's in there. Nevertheless, he hasn't faced that level of competition. And I will say this, for all the qualities that Boots has, for all of the pros, for all of the great things that he does, everybody agrees that the man's defense leaves a little bit to be desired. He gets caught a little bit, particularly with the right hand. We've seen it. I don't know if it's because he loses focus when he's in there. I don't know if he's just got a few flaws. I don't know if he feels comfortable being hit because he has a chin, so he's not really that worried about it. He wants to go in there and he wants to take the necessary chances to put himself in position to land his own shots, right? Maybe he's looking at it like that. Nevertheless, other than this Lima fight, basically every fight that we've seen him in recently, we see him get caught. We see him get hit with some big shots, and even though he never gets stuttered, even though he never appears to get hurt, I have to imagine what's it going to be like if he gets caught with those shots by Vergil Ortiz. Vergil Ortiz will be miles above any competition that Boots has already faced. So not only is Virgil going to be able to go in there and get off his shots just because of who he is, but now you're talking about a guy in Boots who's been able to get caught with clean shots by much lesser fighters. And we see the power that Virgil brings. And if you even stumble or stutter or get hurt for a second in there, he is just going to start unloading combinations. He has every punch available to him. I love the way he was setting up some of these shots with just going pitter-pat to the body with like a little left hook, trying to find the right position and angle. And then as soon as he sees it, man, he just capitalizes and goes. Full gas, pedal to the metal. He's not out there. He's not holding back. He's not waiting. He's not doing anything like that. He's just going after it. I know Robert Garcia feels incredibly confident putting Virgil Ortiz in there at ring with anybody at 154 pounds. They've got a great relationship. They continue to work better and grow. I loved seeing when he was down here, Robert Garcia was in Chicago. He was working the corner for Oscar Duarte when they fought Kenny Sims. I was working as a media member for that fight, so I was able to go in there and I was able to talk to him a little bit. I got an interview up on the channel, and I was talking to him a little bit about Virgil and what he thought. And I'm telling you, man, like what he's doing with Virgil Ortiz out there, the way Virgil's developing, the relationship that they have, the things that they're going, like you see this fight. How can you not just be incredibly impressed? I don't think Virgil, as good as Boots is, and Boots has a certain athleticism to him, a certain swag. He's got certain things that make him really jump out to people, and you want to see that dude fight, and you really believe that he's going to be able to go out there and make it happen. I wouldn't be surprised for Virgil Ortiz to be a decent favorite if those two met up right now. If there was no other fights going on, if the next fight for each of these men was each other, I wouldn't be surprised to see Virgil come in at minus 175, minus 200. And there's going to be a lot of people out there who think Boots would win. There's going to be a lot of people out there who think it's 50-50, but I bet you if Vegas sets that line, after what we've seen from Virgil, the resume that he has, like I said, the defensive lapses that we've seen from Boots in the past, he's going to have to go in this one as a favorite. And I think he'd be a favorite against anybody at 154 pounds right now. So let me know what you guys think. What did you think this fight was going to look like? Were you as impressed as I was? Did you think he was going to win, but it wasn't going to quite be like this? And what do you think that fight between him and Boots is going to look like? Let me know.